Hello and welcome back to chapter 5, lecture number 31. So we created leaves and I want to put these on the terrain. We already have grass and I like to make a new particle system and put these leaves on the terrain. So let's left click on the terrain and go to the particle system. And you can see we have the grass and I like to add a new one and call this dat_leaves. There you go. Switch to hair and go advanced. So we have the rotation. And before we go to rotation, go to render. We want the collection to be the dead leaves. There you have it. And for the leaves, it's hard to see, but these are rotated as well. So we should give these a value of the Y, and now we're facing the right direction. Give the randomness a value of 0.2, and randomize phase 0.2 as well. For grass, I like to keep 0.1 because it will look a little weird if you go for 0.2, but for leaves you can go for this value. I also want to have the source to be random. Because if you have jitter, they will all look in the same direction. And if you have just thousands of particles, you won't really see that. But well, let's demonstrate it. So you can see this. Let's go, you have like 7,000. Well, let's go for 20,000. And you go for random. Yeah. I think we even have to go for 70,000 to show you that. Okay, now you can see there is a sort of rows, a row in the leaves. But if you change this to random, that's gone. So it's definitely worth to change this value. But I like to keep let's keep 20,000. And the viewport display should be, where's the viewport? Viewport display. Make this 10%. All right. Good. So we have the leaves, and we also want to have the vertex group to be the nature. So it will fade away the more you get to the distance. Very important. And I also want to add a texture. So we have areas where grass will be, and some areas will be empty of leaves. So we go for a new one and call this leaf var. And if we now go to this texture tab, you have to go to the dead leaves variation, and we want to have a Voronoi. And for the size, I want to have a 0.5. And let's, where we have it, influence, disable the general time. We want to have hair length and make this 0.9. And we go to the color, and here's where the magic will happen. Close the influence. I want to have very dark spots and white areas. So different than grass, we don't want the leaves to be everywhere. So let's lower this value and make this higher. Yeah, I think this will match the expectation. So we now have to increase the amount of leaves to see the details. Let's go for 70,000 of leaves. All right. So there are very tiny leaves. This is very tiny. That's maybe too tiny. But yeah, I think we have to stay with this value. But it's really, really tiny. Almost not worth it. Anyway, I think what's a good thing to do is we close the terrain. And we want to enable, let's close the dead leaves. I think we should put these more upwards. That will display the very tiny leaves as well. And if you think it's too fake, you have that amount of tiny leaves. It can be parts of leaves, you know? It's just not only the big ones, some leaves are broken. So that will fix it. But right now the leaves are almost, yeah, they are inside of the terrain. And we need to put this more on top. That will fix it. I hope so. Disable the terrain, enable the terrain. Yeah. Okay. Maybe go for an influence of 0.8 because I think this is too much. And then we go for a render, and you can see what we have. Go for that one. 0.8. Yes. So for the amount of leaves, let's go for 150,000. 50,000. Yeah, and this is only 10%. So imagine how that will look like if we make a render. Enable the building, and where's the building? Where's the building? No, for real. There's the building. Okay. So we will make a render, do a review, and we're going to adjust the leaf settings. All right, see you in a second. I will pause the video. So I was rendering this image, and there was almost nothing to see. So you can see some of the leaves on the sides, but I think they are way too small. So what I like to do is I select the terrain, and let's go to the particle settings, and I like to increase this to, let's go for 7. Yeah, so we have bigger leaves. And I also want to change the texture size, the hair length, to 0.75 and go for 6. I'm curious what this will end up, so we'll make a new render. So we created a new render, and this is how it looks like, and it looks better to me. It still needs some improvements, but the thing I like is we can see slightly some leaves getting through the grass, and along the path you can see the leaf stitching on the edges, and the leaves here on the background. What looks very good to me, so I like it. So I'm minimize this render, and what you can do is you have multiple options. You can increase the hair length back to, let's say, 0.8, yeah, or 0.9, but then you have these very small leaves, and you have to increase the hair length. So for example, you go for 8. Bang. I think this is a good idea. And you can do something with the size. So for example, you go for 0.4. It will give you a different result. I think this is totally wicked. You go for 0.55, for example. Yeah. You have very big leaves over there. It's not the thing I should recommend. But then you can go back to the particle system and go for 7. And it's about finding the right balance, what fits your sort of taste. What's something that is frustrating me is that we have a lot of object behind this building and we won't use it. So let's disable the leaves. I want to go to the weight paint, and let's go to the nature, and just behind this you don't want to see it. So I hope it's, yeah, sort of not there. This is a sort of optimization. Especially the red part is not good at all. Yeah. All right, so object mode. Yeah, and this building has these main props enabled again. So yeah, I think this is pretty much it for the leaves. We keep adjust the settings, but for now I think we should focus on something else. We'll make a new render and we'll review it, and then we go to the next lecture. Alright, just a quick preview of the new render. We made some adjustments and this is the new result. The leaves are a little bit bigger. What you can do is change the seed of the particle system, or change the hair length to increase it a bit more, or increase the number to, let's pick 180,000. Do we have it? 180,018 million. 1, 2, 3, 4. I kind of lost it. 180, 1, 2, 3,000. Ha. And change the different seed. That sometimes really makes a difference. But for now, we end this lecture and see you in the next one. Bye bye.